This week's episode is sponsored by Topics on Ice. Grab a cocktail. Topics on Ice is a podcast where they spill tea, throw shade, and talk about whatever comes to their mind. Make sure you follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Topics on Ice, and make sure you email them at topicsonice@gmail.com. Charm Chats with Kendra and Kat. Just a couple of girls talk about this and that. Get familiar with Blue and the charmed ones too on Charm Chats. Hello, and welcome to Charm Chats with Kendra
and Kat.
We are on episode 307, Power Outage.
This one aired on November 16th, 2000.
Yep. And sorry guys, title's not really a reference. It's just a pun.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Kind of. It's more like foreshadowing.
Well, I think it's a pun. I think it's a pun.
Yeah. It's a little bit of both. Little column A, little column B.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is that when someone normal says power outage, oh, you think a specific thing, and this is not that thing.
No.
This is a different power outage.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why it's just a little bit of foreshadowing.
She and her powers are out.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a specific... Okay, I'm trying to remember the term for a thing. I think it starts with an F. But
Thank you
where you use the same descriptor for two different things, but the descriptor applies differently to each thing. Like in Lion King, our teeth and ambitions are bared. Bared means two different things, depending on whether you're talking about teeth or ambitions, but it works for both. And there's a specific term for that, which I forget now. And it keeps popping across my Tumblr, and I'm just like, yes, I love this thing. But I can't remember what it is.
Okay, well, if you think of it...
I probably won't.
You just let me know.
I probably won't. It's an obscure enough thing that my brain's not going to remember.
Okay. Well, if she's thought of it, I'll put a link to something on the website.
Okay.
Sure. So, once again, before we start, I shall apologize for if my voice sounds a little strange. The weather still has me with this stupid cough.
Weather's doing shit.
Yeah. So my voice seems a little raspier to me than it should normally be, but hopefully it won't be annoying. Right? Right, Blue? Yeah, Blue doesn't care. Blue is just happy to be getting cuddles.
Yeah.
So.
Good boy.
So, yeah. So I apologize if my voice sounds a little rougher than normal, because, you know. What can you do? What can you do?
For a Klondike bar?
No, that's what would you do?
I mean...
Technically, that's what would you
semantics.
do. Ooh.
True. True.
Anyway, on that note, let's just get right on into it, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, we start out, we pan across a bed where a red bra is lying to Phoebe and Cole kissing. And
we're going to fast track this.
Because that's the thing we're doing now. This season is all about the fast track. Mm-hmm. Because it's just easier to condense as much as possible.
Yeah. There's a conversation where she stops, he asks what's wrong, and she's like, yo, you keep pulling away from me. He rolls over and she's like, I deserve to know what you're hiding.
Yeah. He sits back up with his, back facing her and saying that she doesn't know what she's asking for.
And then there's a green screen shot.
Which is actually fairly well done.
Fairly well done, except for the fact that now the distance between their heads is completely different from what it would be in reality.
Yes.
It made me chuckle.
Yes.
It made me chuckle.
But at least the lighting was right.
The lighting was right.
So it wasn't like a jarring thing.
Yeah.
Other than the distance being slightly off. It wasn't like, oh, she's in one lighting scenario and he's in a completely different lighting scenario. At least they got the lighting right. So it didn't look completely out of place.
But Phoebe behind him says that he can't keep running and hiding from the truth. And then Cole turns into Balthazar and attacks her.
Yeah. And then Cole wakes up with a gasp, alone in his bed.
And there's a Triad member in his apartment. Apparently, Cole had that dream at the behest of the Triad member.
To remind him of his inner nature as Balthazar. Cole says that he won't let them down. The Triad guy says that he's already let them down by sleeping with one of the witches he was supposed to kill.
Bedding, he says.
Yeah. And then Cole starts to say that it was a mistake, and the Triad member waves his hand in front of Cole, and a dagger, or an athame, if you will, appears in Cole's hand.
He tells Balthazar to find demonic help if he has to, but he'd better kill the witches, or they'll kill him.
Yeah. He then disappears by sinking into the floor, and we're actually left with a pretty cool shot of Cole's face being seen in the small shaving mirror by the bathroom sink. It was a nice little, like...
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was a neat little bit of photography trickery. And then we end on Cole looking at the dagger in his hand as we go to the opening credits.
Yep.
And there's no Daryl this
Daryl
episode because he's not in the opening credits. We come back from the credits, and I've noticed also in season 3 we haven't had a whole lot of establishing shots with music playing over. Mm-hmm. We just come right into it. It's like in season 3 they got longer scripts with more stuff, and they didn't need to put in as many filler scenes.
Probably.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, it seems like they kind of hit their stride script-wise.
Yeah. And I am, while I'm sad about it, I'm okay with it.
Look at his shoulder wrinkles.
Yes. We come back from the opening credits to an exterior shot of P3 with tons of people standing in line to get in, and the now appearing sign has still not appeared.
Yep. And we get one of the credits says, Fastball, musical cast.
Yep.
We pan through to a shot of some drinks on a tray, and then it ends at Prue, Piper, and Phoebe sitting in that nice little alcove.
Which I swear to God, they put in there just so that, like, oh yes, you're supposed to be working. We're just going to sit here and chat for a while.
Yeah.
Like, that's where Piper just goes for her break. Just sitting in the alcove, because nobody else is ever in there.
No.
It's usually just them.
I mean, she's the owner. She gets to commandeer it whenever she wants.
Yeah, totally. Like, we haven't made a thing for it, but, like, part of me was like, we should have made a tally for how many times they're in this goddamn alcove. Not going to do it now, because it's too late for that. Just like, people flying through the window.
Oh, man, yeah.
We did attic door annihilation.
Yeah.
Because that'll come up again. It will. Eventually.
But and the FAQ, because it happens. Yeah. It definitely happens at least once this episode.
Yeah. But we did not do, like, window smashing or whatever, because then we'd be tallying all the time.
Oh, my God.
Like...
I think my favorite... Okay, so, I mean, spoiler alert, later in the episode, when a window gets...
Smashed.
Yeah. The shot, I, like, paused right then just because I had to go to the bathroom or something, and the window, like, the window panes were intact. Like, the little colored ones were intact, so you just see these little rectangles flying out.
Yep.
Like, the center pane smashed, but I guess because they knew this was going to be smashed, they made the wood, like, balsa wood or some shit.
Yeah.
And so it just left the other smashy glass intact as person goes through it.
Yeah, it's very funny. But that's later in the episode, so we'll get to there when we get to there. Anyway, so the girls are sitting in the alcove. Prue is wearing a black halter dress that seems kind of knitted at the chest, like at the very top of it. And there's fringe at the bottom. Her hair is half up, half down. No necklace, but she is wearing hoop earrings, because that was the style. Piper is in a gray spaghetti strap jumpsuit.
Yep.
With black lace trim at the neck, and her hair is pulled away from her face by a star clip on either side of her head. No earrings, but she does have that little diamond necklace again. Exactly.
Big sigh.
Phoebe has on a tight purple spaghetti strap dress.
Oh, just the tightest.
With no bra, and her hair is pulled back into a messy bun with, like, some flowers as detail.
And she's got, like, the little tendrils on either side of her face.
Yeah, and she has a beaded necklace on that looks like it's tied in the front and teeny tiny little earrings. And I do have to say, reminding everyone of the orange top that she wore last episode, her boobs look super tiny in this dress, and it's weird. Her boobs look huge in that orange top that she wore last episode, where she had no bra on at all.
I don't know. They look about the same to me.
No.
I'd have to go back and rewatch.
Pause.
Okay, now that we've gotten a couple of quick boob shots in, we have determined that the reason her boobs look smaller is because that very, very tight purple dress is smashing them in.
Yep.
Whereas the orange top she was wearing last week was, like, lifting them up a little bit or something.
Well, the orange top was form-fitting, but not, like, snug. This dress is form-fitting and snug.
It was elastic.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, like, lycra.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It was just, it looked a little weird to me. Because all of a sudden her boobs looked like, they went from being like, you know, C cups to A cups is where my brain went. And I know that she's, like, neither of those things. But anyway, so once again with fast tracking, Prue is talking about Balthazar coming to kill them.
Phoebe is busy staring out into the club.
Prue says that Balthazar is probably going to be immune to their power, so they need to practice attacking so they can try and take some flesh off him so they can make a vanquishing potion.
Piper asks, white or dark meat?
Yeah. And I love that I believe Prue called it demon fillet.
Yes.
Which was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Phoebe's not really paying attention because apparently Cole is 45 minutes late.
Wouldn't it be filet dimon? Like filet mignon?
Sure.
Filet mignon.
I will allow...
Because French.
The French, yes. I want that on a shirt. I will allow... ... the French. Anyway, Phoebe's not really paying attention because Cole is like 45 minutes late, and Piper mentions that the band Fastball is coming to the club in a few days, and she has things to do. So let me just tell you about the band right quick. Fastball is an American rock band from Austin, Texas. They formed in 1995 and are still performing, though until 2017 they hadn't released an album since 2009. Their first album didn't do as well as they'd hoped, but within 6 months of the release of their second album, they'd sold more than 1 million copies.
For a second, my brain thought that was corpses. And now I'm worried about myself.
Hey, you know? Yeah. The lead single from the album was called The Way, and it stayed at the top of Billboard's Modern Rock Tracks chart for 7 weeks, and was a top 5 hit on Billboard's Top 40 mainstream chart. Before settling on the name Fastball, the band went by a few different names, including Star 69, which is a play on redialing people, because you hit Star 69 and it calls back the person that last called you. So it's a play on more than one way. Magneto, which apparently that's an X-Men thing, so that might have
gotten trademarked for that.
Starchy, which is just weird, and my personal favorite, Ed Clark's Business Bible. I love that so much as the name for a band. It's just so stupid and weird, and I love it. But they went with Fastball instead. In mid-September of 2017, the band played a living room concert at the home of Los Angeles-based comic Chet Wild, following a nearly year-long Twitter campaign which was #FastballAtChet's. The concert efforts raised $12,500 via 267 backers on Indiegogo to assist with Hurricane Harvey relief efforts.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. I'm not going to tangent on them, but along with Fastball, I will link to the wikis for Indiegogo and Hurricane Harvey for anyone who doesn't know what either of those things are.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Cole shows up wearing a light gray suit and looking not dejected, not bored, but like embarrassed.
A little, yeah.
Like from across the room, he looks a little embarrassed and recalcitrant. No, reluctant. I don't know. My thesaurus brain is not finding the right word for this.
That's all right.
But anyway.
It'll come to you eventually.
Yeah. Phoebe spots him, stands up, and goes, Cole's here, Cole's here.
Yeah,
like
she's
a puppy.
Super excited about it. And we see Cole making his way through the crowd. He's muttering to himself.
And he's doing some really great eyebrow acting.
Yeah. He's muttering that they have to break up because he has to kill her. And then when he finally gets to her, he just apologizes for being late. Prue says that they'll be having an earthquake drill the next day at 3.
Piper tells her that she's got a doctor's appointment, Madam President.
Yeah, and Prue's like, you never know when an earthquake is going to strike. And Piper's like, fine, I'll reschedule.
Yeah. Prue repeats the earthquake drill time for Phoebe.
Yeah, who says that she has class after, so she's going to need to borrow Prue's car.
Prue agrees as long as Phoebe fills the tank.
And there's some, like, joking thing of I didn't do that once, and you're holding it against me. And Prue just kind of goes, twice.
Like, behind Phoebe's back.
Yeah, it was kind of adorable.
Cole tries to get Phoebe's attention, but Prue keeps co-opting it, and she's like, oh, I'll need the car back by 5, because I've got to do a photo shoot at P3 at 5, which is apparently news to Piper.
Yeah. She reminds them of the homeowners meeting that's happening at their house that afternoon as well.
Which Prue obviously forgot.
Yeah, and asks Phoebe to cover it. Now, here's my question.
Who owns the house? No. That was not your question.
That was not my question.
Okay.
Here's my question. Phoebe, they're doing an earthquake drill at 3. Phoebe has class after that. Prue needs the car back by 5. And they're supposed to have a homeowners association meeting somewhere in the middle there that she wants Phoebe to deal with.
Yes, but remember, Charmed has never been good about driving time in San Francisco.
Yeah.
The writers do not know how long it takes to get anywhere in San Francisco, and they change their mind about how long it takes to get specific places anyway. So let's just say they ain't experts over here.
Yeah, it was just...
They're not even enthusiasts.
It was just a little odd.
Because generally class is an hour. So if class is at 4, class is going to be over at 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll take her some time to get home. Now, if class is at like 3:30, that's a very quick earthquake drill.
Yeah.
And how long is it going to take her to get to school? Goodness knows.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the timing. Again, this show not only has continuity issues, it has timing issues, and it always has, it always will. But it's a little weird. And so, of course, I had to bring it up. Anyway, so Phoebe says that she absolutely does not want to deal with the homeowners association meeting because last time
they argued for 2.5 hours about where to put garden gnomes, and she turns back to Cole after this.
Yeah. Now, I've never understood garden gnomes, so of course I had to look them up, right? They were apparently really popular in the 1800s, but had a resurgence in the 1930s because of Snow White, which was a movie that came out in the 30s.
What is going on here?
Blue? I don't know. Blue, you're being weird. And then they were revived again in the 1970s, but they've actually been around since the ancient Romans.
Do you see this?
I do. He has become a parrot dog.
A backwards parrot dog.
Yep.
Blue, what the fuck?
Hey, it's a thing.
Okay, well, if you're cozy, I'll leave you there.
Okay. They've actually been around since the ancient Romans. They basically started out as depictions of gods and protectors, but devolved into just being decorations.
And then evolved into being mashup memes.
Yeah.
Like all of these Star Trek gnomes.
Yeah.
I love those.
And then they became a Travelocity mascot.
Yes.
And
uh-huh.
Yeah. I garden gnomes to me are on par with lawn flamingos.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand it.
The only time I had lawn flamingos was when that was... So if you're in National Honor Society, you can get flocked on your birthday or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I got flocked on my 18th birthday.
Nice. See, but that's cute. That's funny. That's like a little pranky thing of, sticking in the lawn.
It's not a prank.
Well, no. But, like, it's like a pranky thing where, you're sticking all these flamingos on the lawn as a hey, we want to draw attention to this person kind of thing. It's the people that have flamingos on their lawn as decor, unironically, that I just do not understand. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Prue does some sisterly blackmail, basically saying that if Phoebe wants the car, then she's got to deal with the homeowners meeting.
Piper tells them that she's got to get back to work, so she gets up and she and Prue walk off. Phoebe finally is able to actually talk to Cole after this whole exchange, and she apologizes for the sister stuff, and tells him there's a fine line between love and hate.
Which I think was the name of a movie with, like, Martin Lawrence. Maybe that's Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Whatever. Still.
Blue Streak?
No, Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
I know, that's not the answer you were looking for, but it just makes me think of Blue Streak, which is the bit where he accidentally leaves a diamond in a duct.
Interesting.
And then comes back after he gets out of prison and finds it's become a police station.
There is indeed.
Indeed.
A 1996 movie called A Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
Wow,
with
that's
Martin Lawrence. He wrote it, he made the screenplay, and then he starred in it.
Ooh, it has Regina King.
So there you go.
But yeah, he finds it's become a police station, so he has to pretend to be a cop. And honestly, it's a fun movie.
I'll link to the movies.
You'll link to that one.
Because why not? Thin Line Between Love and Hate from 1996. It's a comedy crime drama.
Of course it is.
Apparently. Yeah. Anyway, she asks what he wanted to talk about, and he says that he has to go, which of course confuses her, but he says that he just had an epiphany about how to win the big case that he's working on. He then kisses her and asks for forgiveness and leaves.
And I love the thing that happens with Alyssa Milano's face every time, like, Cole's supposed to kiss Phoebe randomly. She just, like, her lips stay puckered for a sec. She's just, like, confused and like, huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Like, it's a little bit of duck face.
A little. It's kind of adorable.
Confused duck face.
Yeah. It's kind of adorable, though.
Yeah. So we cut to outside. Cole walks out a side door into some alley and tells his shadow to inform the Triad that he's figured out how to destroy the Charmed Ones.
And then this shadow floats down into a drain in the middle of the floor, and we're left with Cole just standing there smiling.
Mm-hmm.
I truly, truly love his shadow.
I know,
like,
yeah.
It's the funniest thing, because, like, the shadow just kind of gives him, like, all right, here I go.
Yeah.
Slinking on down the drain.
And we cut to an exterior shot of the manor.
One that shows off the street lamp.
Oh, yeah. It appears to be the next morning.
Yep. In the wicker room, Prue is on the phone, and Piper is sitting at the table cutting a bagel with a very large knife. And there's, like, a jar of jelly and a bowl of fruit on the table. Prue is in red pants.
Like velour pants.
With a multicolored belt.
Or at least corduroy.
It might have been corduroy. With a multicolored belt that is vaguely, again, that, like, native stuff on it.
I thought it was flowers.
No, it was, like, geometrics.
Okay.
And a black single strap top that shows off her belly button. It's not completely cropped, but it's just a little above the belly button.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, like a crop top is usually like an inch or two under the boobs. This was a little lower than that. It was like half an inch above the belly button. But it's just a single strap top, so of course, not wearing a bra.
Nope.
Piper is in a 3/4 sleeve white shirt under a blue vest.
A blue hooded vest.
And many beaded bracelets and that diamond necklace, and both of them have their hair down. And it's just one of those things where I looked at Piper's outfit and I went, I understand that she gets, it's a TV show, and so therefore somebody else is coming up with the outfits that they wear. But I looked at that and went, who thought that was a nice combination?
Dunno. They're just like, hey, what looks more frumpy than the other two?
Yeah.
Go through wardrobe. She might have worn that shirt before. I don't think I've seen the vest.
No. This is definitely a first-time vest.
That's a shirt that, if not the same, it is at least very similar to the one she wore when she was a Wendigo.
That is so long ago that I could not remember if I tried.
It was a white 3/4 length sleeve shirt.
Okay.
Or something.
Something like that.
Elbow length.
I'm sure. Anyway, Prue is telling whoever she's talking to on the phone that she'll be at P3 early to confirm the stylist, and then she hangs up.
As she asks where Phoebe is, Phoebe comes barreling in, seemingly out of breath for no apparent reason.
Yeah. She's wearing a low-cut, multicolored top that looks like a bit like snake skin in, like, multiple colors.
It's like
snake skin on an acid trip, is what it looks like. She's paired this with olive green pants.
High-waisted olive green pants.
And her hair is pulled back, kind of like Piper's was the night before, only they're Piper's hair the night before had been pulled back with two clips that were very visible.
Yeah.
And Phoebe has it pulled back with like bobby pins so it isn't as visible. But it's that same kind of style of just a little tuck on either side.
Yeah, she asked them for some sisterly advice because she finds out Cole still hasn't called. Mm-hmm. And she's like, is he blowing me off and I'm just not reading the signs?
Piper reminds her that when Prue was an empath, she learned that Cole loves her.
But, of course, Phoebe is still worried because she's Phoebe.
Right.
And she grabs some grapes from the bowl on the table.
Prue says that it might have something to do with whatever he's hiding from her.
And then Balthazar barges through the door.
And Phoebe, with a mouthful of grapes, cries, "Demon!"
Before she levitates in the air, we get a lovely shot of just how high-waisted her pants are.
Uh-huh, and the reason for them being high-waisted.
Oh, yeah. Mm. And she kicks him into the dining room table.
It does not break.
Nope.
Balthazar then throws out an electric spark. Piper freezes it. Prue astral projects onto the table behind him.
I would call that more of like a plasma ball.
It's like blue lightning.
Yeah, but it was ball-shaped, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's like a blue lightning.
Yeah, plasma ball.
Sure.
That's how I see it.
Okay. We'll have plenty of time to debate what we're going to call it.
Lightning ball.
Seeing as we will see it many times.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, Prue astral projects onto the table behind him, gets his attention, and then kicks him in the head and flips off the table.
Yeah, there's a lovely shot of what's clearly her stunt double moving too fast to actually tell that it's not her, but, we know.
Right. Piper then picks up a knife from the table and slices at Balthazar's neck.
I love the shot after Prue flips off the table, because then we get, like, a close-up shot of just her, and her hair. Her hair is completely non-mussed.
Yeah.
Like, nothing has happened to it. No wind. Yeah. Nada.
Nothing. There wasn't a single hair out of place.
She didn't, like, throw her head forward and then back. Like,
yeah.
Little Mermaid style, just to get it looking like something had happened.
Yep. Nope. Not a single hair out of place. At all. So Piper picks up the knife, slices at Balthazar's neck, and then
we hear Leo go, "Ah, you got skin!"
Yeah. Balthazar changes back into Leo, and he cries out. And then and he's wearing a white t-shirt under a green ribbed sweater, and I was like, oh, classic Leo.
Yeah, very classic Leo.
It's so classic, and I love it.
Uh-huh.
Prue then smiles and astral projects back.
She smirks. She fucking smirks.
Well, all right. Prue smirks.
It was so goddamn smug.
And then astral projects back into her body.
There was a little, like, chin tilt. Like,
Phoebe asks if Leo could look like Brad Pitt. So, of course, I'm not going to tangent on him. You can look him up yourself.
I'm not that into, like, young Brad Pitt, honestly.
I will admit...
He's got a little snub nose, and it bothers me.
Brad Pitt with long hair.
Yeah.
And fangs.
Yes.
Give me Interview with the Vampire, Brad Pitt.
That's fine.
Long hair is Legends of the Fall. You gotta add the fangs, because the fangs changes the way his face looks just enough that I actually find him attractive.
Yeah, that's me with Channing Tatum. I didn't see it until Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah.
Because he was wearing teeth.
Yeah. It sounds stupid, but, like, just that little bit of mouth change made his face look different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't find Brad Pitt attractive. He is not my aesthetic.
He's gotten nicer looking as he's gotten older. He has aged well.
He has aged well. But, like
a whiskey.
Yeah. But I've never really found him attractive. He's not my aesthetic. Mm-hmm. I am much more a pretty boy, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, because I have no, like, sexual attractions, I only have, like, romantic and aesthetic attractions, I go for the pretty boy faces. Like, I like me some pretty boys. I just do. Like Andrew Lee Potts. Andrew Lee Potts is gorgeous.
Yep.
And he's got such a little baby face and he's adorable.
Little cute baby face.
He's so cute. So cute. Anyway, but yeah, like Brad Pitt, I've never found him attractive. And then Interview with the Vampire, just putting in those things changed the way his face looked just enough that I was like, oh, now he's cute.
And honestly, that's the only time I've ever been attracted to Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Even then, even the fangs didn't really help me with Tom Cruise. I found him...
It was the blonde hair.
I found him more attractive, but I still did not find him attractive.
Well, yes.
He was more aesthetically pleasing than he normally comes off to me.
Yeah. Every other time I'm just like, oh, look, it's Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And as we all know, Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise crazy.
Yes.
Just be glad it's him and not you.
Yes. If you can find that Jonathan Coulton song, you need to.
Yes, you really do.
It is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Anyway,
Prue gives them some constructive criticism that's less constructive and more criticism before asking if they should do it again. And Piper's like, no, I'd like to have a boyfriend when we're done.
Yeah.
Strange that she still doesn't call him her fiancé. Like, he proposed, she said yes.
Because remember, they're
on probation, right?
on probation.
Nah.
Yeah. Phoebe asks for the keys to Prue's car. Prue hands them to her and reminds her to get food for the homeowners meeting.
Phoebe's like, how am I supposed to do that if I have to bring back your car right away? And they both turn to Piper.
Yeah, because Prue can't do it because of her photo shoot.
Uh-huh. Piper realizes she's being ganged up on, and she sighs and says she'll reschedule her doctor's appointment again.
Yeah. Phoebe then blows her a kiss.
I love that she can apparently reschedule her doctor's appointment for, like, just later in the day.
Yeah.
Like, my doctor, I can't reschedule for later in the day. The one time it got delayed was because she had to go over to the hospital to do an emergency C-section.
Yeah.
Because no one else was on call for that.
Yeah. I have never been able to get a doctor's appointment for later the same day, ever.
No.
But it does make me wonder why none of them think to give Leo money and have him do it.
Yeah.
Just saying. Like, you a la convenience. Everything else.
Do we know if he knows how to drive?
It doesn't matter if he knows how to drive. Legitimately, here's money. Go take a taxi. Go get groceries. Come back.
True. I forgot about taxis. I'm like, we don't want him orbiting it everywhere.
Yeah.
But I forgot taxis were a thing.
Yeah, because we don't live in an area where that's a huge thing, but Uber wasn't around back then.
They might have also forgotten taxis are a thing.
Yeah.
Because they aren't thinking, hey, person without car can go get things.
Yeah.
Money can be exchanged for goods and services.
Explain how. Yeah, no. Sorry, I was having a Homer Simpson. Yeah. But it just interests me that I understand that they're doing it to bring in reasons for annoyance later.
Yeah.
Like, bringing in reasons for annoyance later is the heart and soul of this episode. But it just annoys me that, like, you all are convenient so much shit, and none of you think to be like, hey, Leo, you literally have nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. Can you just pop by the store?
Yeah, and he doesn't even offer. He doesn't. Yeah. He does nothing. Yeah. He barely fucking helps. He's so useless this episode.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad, actually.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of sad. Anyway, we jump over to Cole, who is putting the dagger that he got from the Triad guy into a spot on an altar that he apparently has in his apartment.
Behind a big-ass, jagged abstract painting.
Yeah, it looks like a piece of modern art. It's funny.
And I'm amazed that it blocks out this ambient red light that's inside. Like, you can't see it when the thing is fully closed.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Yeah. Whoever made that did good work. Especially considering there's not, like, a lip that keeps it, like, closed or whatever.
Yeah. He's wearing a light blue button-down shirt tucked into black pants. It's like he just took off a suit jacket and tie and just left the rest of it on.
Anyway, he closes the painting doors.
Yeah.
And asks the demon, who's off-screen, if he's ever destroyed siblings.
The demon is wearing a dark knitted turtleneck sweater under a red button-down shirt under a black jacket. I want to know why you put a button-down shirt over top a turtleneck sweater. I am very confused by this outfit choice.
Because he's British?
Maybe.
I don't know, but either way, he's doing the most facial acting possible.
Yes.
There is not a muscle in this man's face that is not being utilized to its utmost potential.
Yeah. He has...
It is goddamn frenetic.
Yeah. He has some good face.
And I cannot look away whenever he's talking. Because he's telling Cole that he starts wars and riots. And Cole's like, well, your resume is rather unfocused.
Yeah.
And the demon's name is apparently Andrus. So now we get to tell you about him.
Yeah. The actor is Jason Carter. He was born in 1960 in London, England, and he's been acting since 1978. He's done a ton of stuff, including a few episodes on the original Beverly Hills 90210. But anyone who remembers the show Babylon 5 will recognize him as Marcus Cole. I will link to Babylon 5 for anyone who isn't aware of it, because I think more people should know about it. It was an amazing, amazing show. Mm-hmm. It was the kind of show where they literally were like, okay, from day one, before anything has been recorded, we have 5 seasons played out. Nothing will change. We get from point A to point B. It's going to take us 5 seasons. Give us 5 seasons to do it. Mm-hmm. And somebody was like, okay, here, have 5 seasons. And they actually did it. And they told the story the way they wanted it to be told, in the exact way that it was supposed to be told. And it was amazing. And it annoys me that they don't do that more often.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, the BBC will occasionally do miniseries. They're like, well, it's too long to put in a movie, but it's not long enough to really do, like, a full show, because we like to have at least 6 episodes for those. Mm-hmm. But, 4 is good. We can do 4. It'll be fine. And then they do it, and they're done.
Yeah.
And there's the whole joke about, like, a television show in England will have 30 episodes across, like, 13 years, and, like, it's kind of accurate.
Yeah, it is. But it's annoying.
But they also, I mean, they're also, like, way less funded than American stuff.
True. Very, very true.
And, it allows them to do more about, hey, can we make sure we actually tell a story?
Yeah.
As opposed to, hey, how can we get more money?
Yeah, and I think that's also the biggest thing is not all, because I'm not going to completely generalize, but most British actors see it as a job. They do the job, they get paid for the job, they go on to the next job. And they don't really care so much about the fame. Like, there are some, like I said, I'm not generalizing for the most part. But, because there are some that are like, yes, give me all of the fame. You love me. I know you love me. Yay, love me. Yeah. But most of the time, almost all British, at least British actors that I have listened to interviews with them, they find the American celebrity mentality to be insane.
Oh, yeah.
And so do I, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah.
But you also have to remember that in America, we don't have royalty. Celebrities are our royalty. Mm-hmm. In England, they have actual royalty.
Yep.
So they don't treat their celebrities like royalty because they're not.
Yeah. And they have better laws about paparazzi.
Yeah, that too. And that...
Because it's smaller and it's more congested. And if you get, like, a bunch of cars blocking up the way, well, technically that's normal traffic. But only if there are drivers in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that one guy who always does the vines of British traffic?
I don't know.
I think he was the one who started the trend of, oh, how do British people do a shower? Oh, do you seem like you? We turn on the water, and then we grab the tea.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that one.
And he's got the one where he's, like, yelling at his baby, but clearly he's got, like, happy face on, so she just laughs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway.
He likes doing traffic vines.
Well, all right, then. But Vine doesn't exist anymore.
I know. I'm sad.
R.I.P. Vine.
R.I.P. Vine.
Hashtag not spawned.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
If they were sponsoring us, that'd be weird.
It would be.
I'd be like, no, sponsor yourselves.
I know, right?
Continue living.
Yeah. The best thing that came out of Vine was Thomas Sanders.
One of the best things, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Thomas Sanders. He's amazing.
Yes.
Anyway, that's a complete derailment of everything. But yeah, I just the reason that I even thought about the thing was because I was watching Sense8, and I got really sad when I found out that they originally wanted Sense8 to be 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And they would tell the story over 5 seasons. I'm like, oh, that's like Babylon 5. Except that Babylon 5 actually got to do it.
Yep.
And it made me very sad. Because Sense8 was a very good show.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they're supposedly getting like a 2-hour movie or something to try and wrap it all up. But like,
it's going to be tough to wrap it all up.
Yeah, let's put 3 seasons into 2 hours. When each episode was at least an hour.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to this show, shall we?
Uh-huh.
So, Cole says that his needs are very particular.
And Andres tells him he can infect anyone who's angry because he turns that anger into rage, and that rage turns into violence.
Yeah.
And anyone who's looking at his face can really believe that.
Yeah, it was a little Yoda-esque.
without the syntax.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. It was just, I had this, like, and violence turns to the dark side. Like, that's,
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Cole asks if he can infect the charmed ones.
And Andrus is like, what? You didn't tell me they were witches.
Yeah, he gets a titch angry.
He gets a witch angry.
Uh-huh.
Well, he gets 3 of them angry.
But Cole says that they are sisters first and foremost, and that's going to be their Achilles heel. And I believe we've covered Achilles before, so I'm not going to tangent again.
Yeah. And he theorizes that breaking the sisterly bond should break the very foundation of their powers,
making them defenseless.
And Andrus is like, okay, which one do we start with?
And Cole says that the youngest is the most vulnerable.
I realize what voice I'm doing. I'm doing the voice that Chris Hardwick does when he's being the vampire on Beyond Belief.
Yeah, it's like a Thrilling Adventure Hour. Yeah.
That's the voice I'm doing. Okay, well, now that we know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we jump over to campus, where Phoebe is now wearing a large orange coat.
Yep, and a silver backpack over her outfit. She is holding a book and talking into her phone as she leaves the building.
It's a very large, thick psychology book. And it's got a purple cover.
Yep. She says that she's running late because class ran long, and then she had to stop at the library to get a book for said class, and there's...
Whoever's on the other line makes a joke about her being born late, which she repeats and then laughs.
Yeah.
Like, sarcastically.
And then she sees Cole standing by the car, so she hangs up the phone and asks why he's there.
He tells her he got a break in that case and decided to take the afternoon off so he could apologize for being rude.
Yeah. He says that he wants to make it up to her, and so he got them early dinner reservations at some place called Rizzo's.
I heard that as Brazil's.
I heard it as Rizzo's.
Okay, well, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Which I immediately thought, okay, so he got them reservations at like an Italian restaurant. That was my first thought.
I heard Brazil's, so I don't know.
I don't know. The captions on Netflix said Rizzo's, and I heard.
Oh, right, yeah, you put captions.
Well, I'm half deaf in my left ear, so yes, I do. So I heard it as Rizzo's. The caption said Rizzo's, so there you go.
Yeah, Phoebe tells him that she can't because of the homeowners meeting, and he does that thing where he's like, "I understand," and then like cants his shoulders down, kisses her, and starts walking away like a sad penguin.
Yeah. And then he stops and turns around as she says that she can probably get Piper to handle the meeting.
He says, oh, won't she be mad? Phoebe's like, oh, she'll be furious, but she'll do it anyway.
Yeah, she'll just suppress it and take it out on me later.
You know, a la John Mulaney.
She asks him to meet her in an hour, and he agrees, and she gets in the car to leave. And he flicks his hand toward the car, and we are shown a bit of piping somewhere on the car.
The gas line.
That's what we're assuming.
Yeah.
But anyway, we aren't positive at this point.
Yeah, it like slides out of its notch, and the flange starts leaking.
Yeah. And then Phoebe like beeps the horn as she drives away, which is kind of funny. So we jump over to the living room at the manor, and there are a bunch of random people standing around having the most boring argument ever.
It is so boring. It's about a fence.
Yeah. We don't get names for any of these people until much later, and we don't even know who's who, but I'll tell you what I know. One of them is an actress named Selma Archard. She was born in 1926 in New Jersey. She started acting in 1973, and this was her final acting role, but she's not that dead that I could see.
That'll be the old lady then.
Another one is Pamela Dunlap. She's been acting since 1963 and is still going.
That'll be the redhead.
We have Ron
Marasco.
Marasco. I knew I was going to say it wrong as soon as I started. I was like, Marasco. No, that's wrong. Marasco. Ron Marasco. He started acting in 1989, and he's still going. He's mostly done single episodes of shows, but he was on 9 episodes of the TV show Major Crimes.
That'll be the dude. And Power of Elimination.
The African-American is Desiree Walter. She only has 11 acting credits between 1995 and 2010, with a break between 2003 and 2010. So there you go.
That's those people having that stupid, boring argument about a fence and some azaleas and the sun and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to the kitchen where Leo walks in as Piper starts to carry a tray of little tiny foods out.
Yes. We can now see that Leo is wearing light gray pants with his outfit and Piper is in jeans. Piper trips over Prue's tripod, which for some reason is laying on the floor under the table.
Under the kitchen island.
Oh, was it under the island?
Yes.
Okay. Again, for some reason is laying on the floor. Instead of being propped up in a corner like it should have been.
Yeah.
A la convenience.
Anyway, Leo managed to catch both her and the tray of food. Only a couple of them kind of like fell over and landed in the crook of his arm.
It was hilarious because like he grabs it and like two little, they look like little like mini quiches is what I thought they were. Yeah. They're like little
tartlets,
tiny,
she calls them.
Yeah, they're onion tartlets. We find out, but
and now I want onion tartlets.
You can have them all since I am allergic to onions. So. But two of them fall off the tray as he grabs it and just land in, like, his elbow. And it was hilarious to me. I don't know why. It just struck me, like, hilariously funny at that moment. So he manages to hand her back the tray, and they head back to the table, and then they both lament how she got roped into doing the food.
Piper tells him that her sisters deemed her doctor's appointment to be less of a priority than whatever the fuck they were doing.
Leo asks why she couldn't just make a snack that was simpler, like chips and dip.
And in the middle of brushing her hair back, Piper basically, like, snaps at him that she was a chef. She can't do chips and dip.
Yeah. She just can't do the simple thing because,
No.
you know... It's not in her nature.
Sounded like she couldn't do a spinach dip. Those can be nice.
I love a good spinach dip.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
spinach
you just like throw some shit into
with Hawaiian bread.
Mm-hmm. You just throw some shit into a bowl, mix it up, and then broil it for a hot sec.
Yeah.
And then hey, you got dip, buy chips.
Hawaiian bread. I'm telling you.
Or that, yeah.
Get yourself some Hawaiian bread. You hollow out the bread. You take all the bread pieces. You put them in a bowl. You put the dip inside the bread, and then it's just it. And then you just eat it all.
Now I want to do that.
I know, right? Anyway, he says that she just needs to tell her sisters how she feels,
or just say no to them.
And she says that he obviously doesn't have sisters,
and he doesn't.
Yeah. She basically says that an argument about nothing will turn into an argument about who stole whose Malibu Barbie in 1979.
Probably not Phoebe.
No.
Because wasn't Phoebe like 2?
Yeah. I'm not going to tangent, but I will link to Barbie
on the
website.
No, it probably would be Phoebe then.
I don't know. Who knows? I'm not going to tangent, but I will link to the wiki for Barbie on the website. Did you know that Barbie's been around for almost 60 years?
Yep.
That just...
boggles the mind.
Yeah. It's very funny. My friend Jay lives in England, is going to university, and I think I actually took a picture of the Snapchat that he sent. That was the TOW, your everyday working copy of Shakespeare is over 100 years old, and you don't think anything of it until an American is shocked. Because it's like... That's it. They just have these books. Like, why would we get new books every year? We have this one.
Yeah.
What's the thing? But I just thought that was hilarious. Anyway, Prue walks in, putting her camera bag down on the counter, and asks where Phoebe is. Piper says that she's not home and then asks about mineral water. Who drinks mineral water, like, on a regular basis? I don't.
Stupid fancy people? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I can understand... Okay, well, that's not completely true, because I kind of get it. Because, like, Perrier, like, is sparkling water.
Uh-huh.
If you turn that into iced tea...
Oh.
Yeah. It's really, really cool.
We have a soda stream. We could probably do that.
Ooh. Nice. Anyway, Prue says that there's more mineral water in the basement, and Leo offers to get it.
A la Phoebe realizing Cole's there and excitedly turning to her sisters. Like, he's super excited to get out of the fucking room.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. He like,
runs
to the basement door. Yeah. And Piper, like, carries a plate of food into the living room and leaves Prue in the kitchen. And the neighbors are still arguing about the fence.
And apparently the bylaws allow for a fence of a certain height.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is that sometimes you can get around these shitty bylaws by building a wall. Because the fence can only be a certain height, but there's nothing about a retaining wall.
Yep.
Who says it has to retain anything? No one.
Yep. So she explains to these people who aren't paying any attention to her what the food is, because she's apparently made 3 different things.
Including goat cheese pizza for the vegetarians.
No. It was goat cheese pizza, onion tartlets for the vegetarians.
Okay. And chicken satay, which has peanuts in it in case anyone's allergic.
Yeah. I do think it very funny, though, that all we see is the onion tartlets.
Yeah.
That's it.
But
and there's also, like, other people in the living room. There's, like, another group of people talking by the windows.
But they're not arguing, so we don't care about them.
Yeah.
And they're like those people that were at that dinner party in season 1 that we only saw when they were opening the door.
Yeah, when they were leaving.
It's like they never got lines. They never got more than 10 feet. They never got closer than 10 feet from the camera.
Yeah.
Like, they might as well not have been there.
Yeah. It was just very, very interesting.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
Phoebe tries to sneak from the kitchen up the stairs through the dining room, but Piper spots her and yells her name, causing the argument to slightly disrupt for half a sec while she walks in between them and to Phoebe.
Yeah.
And then they resume.
Yeah. Phoebe asks for a huge favor.
And Piper's like, no, no, no!
Yeah. She gets annoyed by the neighbors who won't shut up and freezes the room. She tells Phoebe that it's not fair.
And Phoebe's like, I know it's not fair, but Cole asked me out. He wants to have the talk.
Yeah. She asks Piper to cover for her, and Piper says that she's already rescheduled her doctor's appointment twice.
And Phoebe's like, well, Leo was a doctor before he died, which is super helpful. And also, I'm pretty sure the doctor's appointment was for, like, a gynecologist.
We don't know.
Well, I mean, like, Leo was a military doctor. He has not studied medicine, presumably, since the 40s, because he hasn't had to. He's had a magic hand and powers. Like, why the fuck would he?
Yeah.
And also, that's not the point of a doctor's appointment.
Yeah. But again, we don't know what doctor she's supposedly going to.
Well, it's her primary care physician. Her PCP. Not the drug.
Yeah. Don't know. Anyway, this is when she says that Cole wants to have the talk, and Leo walks in holding a bottle of what is probably the mineral water. He asks if she's ever going to unfreeze the neighbors. Phoebe then pleads with her, and Piper gives in.
So Phoebe hugs her and runs upstairs, and Piper starts to tell Leo that he's absolutely helping with the meeting, but we hear the white lighter jingle.
And he says, oh, sorry, gotta go, and orbs out. And
she
drops the bottle that he's holding, and she manages to catch it, and then calls him a chicken, and then unfreezes the room. It was very funny that, like, she just kind of looks up and goes, chicken.
Yeah, I wonder what they called him out for, too. Because he doesn't explain it when he gets back.
No, he doesn't.
Whatever. Anyway, we cut to outside, where we pan over from the house to the street as Cole drives up in his car.
He's in a BMW convertible with the hood up, and I'm not going to tangent on them because I still hold a grudge against them for reasons I'd rather not get into, for they will sound petty to other people, but I will link to BMW on the website.
Of course you will. Anyway, he closes his eyes and calls out for Andress, who appears with a red shimmer in the passenger seat.
Yeah, and then Cole opens his eyes, and he tells him to go infect Piper.
Andress says he thought they were starting with Phoebe.
And Cole says that Phoebe is the reason that Piper is already angry.
So Andress questions him.
And Cole says that once he infects Piper and Prue, then Cole will bring Phoebe back to the house, and they'll just blame her for everything.
As they always do. Andress says that Cole doesn't seem to be very happy about being close to victory.
And Cole tells him to just do his job.
So Andress gets out of the car.
And Cole looks a little conflicted.
Yep.
Yeah. We cut back inside where the neighbors are still arguing about the fence.
Yeah, Piper tries to inject some common sense, but of course no one is listening to her because obviously it makes no sense to move a flower bed.
They continue arguing as the doorbell rings, and we get a POV shot of Andress looking in at Piper from the outside window.
Piper tries to get everyone to calm down, but Phoebe runs past the living room and waves by.
Yeah, and she is now wearing a really pretty outfit. Yeah. It's a black corset top with a red, like, halter strap that kind of turned
itself... It's a scarf.
It kind of turned itself into a scarf.
It's a scarf that she just tucked into the sides before she, like, laced it up or something. How did she lace it up herself?
Well, I have thoughts on that. But, but it didn't look like it was necessarily a scarf that she just added because it does look like the scarf on top matches very closely to the bit at the that she's wearing at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked like
it's scarf material.
Yeah.
It's like a chiffon.
Yeah, it looked like she had made it into like a halter top, but then it kind of turned into like an off the shoulder thing.
I think it was supposed to be off the shoulder.
Yeah, it was a little weird, but it looked pretty.
Yeah.
And so then there's a red skirt with like black abstract flowers on it. And we actually, like, I didn't put it in my notes now because we'll find it out later, but it actually winds up not being just a skirt. It winds up being a skirt over black pants.
Yeah.
Because of course it is. It's Phoebe.
Yeah.
But in this moment, in this scene, the skirt looks much less see-through than it looks later.
Interesting.
Even though the pattern is the exact same. In this, when we first see this outfit, the skirt looks much more opaque.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a little odd. But her hair is pulled into an elaborate updo with red flowers, and she's carrying what I'm assuming is a black sweater to match, but we never see her in it.
Nope. And probably her purse. She's probably carrying her purse, too.
Right. But
I saw this outfit, and I was like, ooh, it's that episode.
See, and this is another episode that I didn't really remember much about it at all.
Well, from the title, I was like, okay, I think I know what happens, and I think there's this bit in here, but the bit I thought was going to happen didn't.
Yeah. I remember
then I saw this outfit, and I'm like, oh, okay, yep.
I remember bits and pieces from this, but again, I didn't realize it was all in one episode. But as for the corset top, it looked like the kind that you could get at like Fredericks of Hollywood, and it probably had a zipper on the side.
Okay. Yeah, but still, how do you lace that shit up?
You don't. You put it around you see where it has to be, you lace the back, you put it around you, and then you zip it up the side.
Yeah, but if you want it any kind of tight, like, you can't zip it up.
Fredericks of Hollywood, it didn't need to actually be laced.
Okay.
It was... Yeah. I know. I had one of those kind of top. It's a fake corset is the one that I had. Hers looks a little bit more structured than mine did, which was mostly fabric because it had fabric sleeves, but that's because I have bigger boobs than her.
This is true.
So it had to
her
have...
boobs are well on display now.
Yes. Anyway,
Piper notices from across the room
that Phoebe is wearing her earrings, which are red to match the dress. And then we see our lovely demon, Andres. His eyes light up red, and a ball of red and black light comes out of his hand and hits Piper.
And it kind of like pulses through her.
Yeah, and she does like kind of like a shiver.
Like a shiver jump.
Yeah.
Anyway, she yells at everyone to shut up about their stupid fence and their stupid flowers, and they do. And she tells them quite rightly that there are bigger problems to deal with. Get a life and grow up.
And one of them is like, you can't talk to us like that. And then Piper throws a tray of food at them.
Because that's what you do.
Yeah.
When you've been infected by a rage demon.
Yeah. She tells them all to get out of her house. They all start to leave. One of them says something about building a fence to keep her in, to which she replies, good idea.
And another tells her that they'll speak to her sister about the way she behaved.
To which she replies, better idea.
And funnels them out the door.
And as the door closes behind them, she yells, and stay out. And then Andres disappears in a shimmer of red, and we go to commercial break.
Yay!
By far, one of my favorite moments in this entire episode was just like, good idea. Better idea. Get the fuck out.
Yep.
It was great.
We come back from commercial inside Rizzo's or whatever the fuck it was, which appears to be a Latin dance club
instead of an Italian restaurant like I thought it was going to be.
It's got a black and white checkerboard floor and everything.
Right, but now at least her outfit makes more sense because she absolutely looks like she was going salsa dancing, and I went, oh, okay,
yeah,
sure. So there's some Latin like salsa music playing and people in various outfits.
The singer on stage is like a knockoff Ricky Martin.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Or Gabriel or
Enrique Iglesias.
Enrique Iglesias.
Yeah, Enrique Iglesias. Yeah.
And he had some thighs.
Yeah. He's like wearing like leather pants and like a gray.
Leather pants.
Yes.
And
yes. and a like gray sweater, and I went, that looks very
Gray,
Ricky Martin too.
Tight ribbed sweater, vertical ribbing, baby.
Yeah, I was like, that looks very like Ricky Martin.
And it was a short sleeve sweater too. Holy crap!
Anyway, so there are various people in various outfits doing some salsa dancing. Apparently, again, links to the website as per usual. Salsa dancing and salsa music came out of the Cuban and Puerto Rican neighborhoods in New York City in like the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, that tracks.
As I was researching this and whatever, my mother happened to come in and I mentioned it to her and she goes, oh, the Cubans and the Puerto Ricans took a week off of fighting with each other to make some salsa. And it just made me giggle. And I'm like, yeah, apparently so. Because apparently in like the 60s and 70s, the Cubans and the Puerto Ricans in New York did not like each other very much.
Oh, boy.
So there you go. But I just thought that was funny. I was like, oh, they took a week off to invent some music. Got it.
And dancing.
Yeah. So, but it has like Caribbean
Rhythms
and
clave.
What's the word? Influences.
Yes.
Influences was the word I was looking for there. So, yeah. Anyway, so we pan through the people to Cole and Phoebe sitting at a table and laughing.
They're having a real good date. And they're talking about a job she had when she was 15 where she had to dress up as a penguin and hand out balloons to kids.
Yeah. She gets up and does a little penguin walkie thing, and then they both laugh harder. And she sits down, and they stop laughing, and they kind of have like an awkward silence.
Yeah, the 7-minute period is up.
Mm-hmm. And then
So we're gonna fast track this again.
Yep.
She tries to get him to talk about his past. He doesn't want to, and after a little more pushing, he's like, "Oh, I lost my family a long time ago."
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, I understand," and explains that while she never knew her mother, her father left, and they were raised by her grandmother, who's now dead.
Yeah. He reminds her that she still has her sisters. She says that she doesn't know what she'd do if she lost them.
And he gets a like guilty flash over his face. And he's like, I have to tell you something. And it looks like he's about to spill the demon beans.
Yeah. And then he, like, because he, like, pauses and gets this, like, trepidatious kind of look on his face. And then he goes, I'm a terrible dancer.
And she, quite rightly, recognizes this is bullshit. She's like, that's not what you're going to say.
And then a slow song comes on for an a la convenience reason at the salsa dance club.
Well, I mean, you got to break it up somehow.
I guess so.
They're not going to do upbeat music the entire night.
I guess so.
They got to break it up. But someone's got to have a chance to pee. If you're there for the athleticness of salsa dancing, and you don't want to do like a stand and sway, that's your bathroom break.
Yeah.
That's your food break. That's your hydration break. And dehydration break and bathroom.
Yes. It was just more of a la convenience. He says he can't dance, so let's get up and do the slow dance, which anyone can do because it's literally stand here and sway back and forth to the beat.
We've been experts at it since middle school. Mm-hmm. Except then we had to leave room for Jesus.
See, I didn't have to deal with any of that.
Well, neither did I. I never got danced with, but
exactly.
Still.
I never went to the dances, so there you go.
Oh, I went to them.
Nope.
Oh, well, okay, no, I guess I did have to deal with it a little bit because in 7th and 8th grade we had dance class.
Yeah,
like
no, I
Friday
didn't have that
nights.
Either. Nope.
Friday nights. Like the inner ring was dudes, the outer ring was the ladies, and we would spend an hour learning how to do very basic shit. Like that's all of the swing dance I know came from middle school.
Yeah, no, didn't have any of that crap. First time I ever took a dance class was in college. Mm-hmm. And even then it was line dancing.
Yeah. The first hour would be the 8th graders. The second hour would be the 7th graders. And the 8th graders could stay to, like, help the instructor. So sometimes I did that. Which was fun.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she stands up, expecting him to get up with her. Because if they're not going to talk, they're going to dance. Because why would you take me here if you're not going to dance?
Who knows? And so he stands up and he's still saying he can't dance.
Mm-hmm. They walk out on the dance floor because she has basically conned him into dancing.
Uh-huh.
And they go and slow dance. And his face is like a combo of being worried and like something else that I can't quite place.
Guilty and apprehensive.
Yeah, it was like a combo platter of emotions going over his face.
Longing.
Yeah.
Regret.
And as they dance, I can tell
it's a not a melting pot. It's a salad. It's a coleslaw.
There you go.
It's a coleslaw of emotion.
Hashtag coleslaw of emotion.
Wrapped up in a nice...
I absolutely. If you listen to this episode, tweet at us at CharmChatsPod on Twitter with hashtag coleslaw of emotion. I want to see how many
cabbage
tweets
of
we
confusion.
I want
the
to see.
radicchio of regret.
I want to see if we can get coleslaw of emotion
the trending
of for
sincerity.
some reason. I think that'd be hilarious.
Hang on, what else? What other emotions can there be? The guava of guilt? I don't know. Maybe you have guava in your coleslaw.
The iceberg of indignation.
Why do you have iceberg in a coleslaw?
I was just thinking lettuce. Don't mind me.
Coleslaw is cabbage based.
I know. I just went to the lettuces. Anyway, as they're dancing, I noticed that Phoebe's earrings, which are apparently Piper's, are clip-ons.
Yep.
Which, a la convenience, foreshadowing for later.
Yep.
Anyway, and of course, just because I'll link to the wiki for earrings on the website.
Yeah, and
because I'm not.
She must be wearing some heels because she is less shorter than him than normal. And, he always has to bend down so far to, kiss her when they're doing that. And so he's just kind of, hunched over during this scene, and it kind of makes me laugh. Because I'm like, he's too tall for this shit.
Yeah.
They should have put her on, a 3-inch box to go with her 3-inch heels. And then his chin won't be at her forehead.
Yeah.
And then it will be comfortable for her to stick her arms around him. Because the position she's in right now, I'm like, this shit's gonna fall asleep fast. That's awkward.
Yeah.
It's fucking awkward, man.
Yeah. It was a little weird, but, whatever. Anyway, back at the manor, Prue walks into the kitchen on her cell phone.
And we're gonna fast track this again.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, she didn't make it to P3 because someone forgot to fill the tank on her car, and she's explaining this to the person on the phone and asks for a second chance.
Piper comes in, starts slamming trays down onto the counter.
Prue's like, can you keep it down? And asks where Phoebe is.
Piper says that Phoebe isn't home, and I believe she called her a little witch, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Prue then tells the person that she's on the phone with that P3 the next day won't be a problem.
Piper grabs the cell phone and tells the person, you know what, it will be a problem, and hangs up on them.
Yeah. Prue gets upset. Do you know who that was? And asks what Piper's problem is.
Piper says to get her own club.
And Prue tells her to get some Midol.
Which is a pain reliever most commonly used for the relief of PMS pain symptoms.
Mm-hmm. But it actually started out in 1911 as a headache and toothache remedy, and then as a cure for the hiccups.
Turns out, it's also good for bloating.
It's basically just a combo of a pain reliever, a stimulant, and an antihistamine. Link on the wiki, blah, blah, blah.
And it's fucking magic.
It's amazing, and not only people who experience PMS can use it. And I will also say...
Oh, and it usually has a little bit of caffeine in
That's
it,
the stimulant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the stimulant. But not only people who are having PMS symptoms can use it. And if it's cheaper, just get... If Midol is too expensive, just get yourself some Excedrin migraine. Same exact ingredients. It's a pain reliever and a stimulant. That's really all you need.
And an antihistamine?
I don't know if Excedrin migraine has it, but legitimately...
Because I think the combo of those three might be what does it for me. Because I've had Excedrin migraine for stuff before.
Could be.
And honestly, it's not as good for me.
Well, then all you
But also,
just,
my body's weird about drug reactions.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't use ibuprofen for anything but headaches. I need naproxen for muscle aches.
Whatever.
Anyway, bodies are weird.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we see Andrus watching from outside.
Piper tells...
His face is not moving.
Yeah.
For once.
Piper tells Prue that she needs to get her equipment out of the way, and then she throws one of Prue's camera lenses on the floor, supposedly breaking it, but the sound that it makes was more plastic than anything else.
Because it's a fake. Andrus's eyes go red, and a ball of black and red light shoots out of his hand and hits Prue. She does the same, jump shiver thingy mabob.
Yep. Prue then looks around, picks up the food processor from the table, yells at Piper, and then throws it on the floor.
And honestly, It looked like the parts came apart, but like
nothing
broke.
Yeah. Though, to be fair, she could have knocked something of the motor.
In the motor, yeah.
Because the internal wiring of a food processor.
I swear, I used to have that food processor.
Probably. Oh. I've never owned a food processor. I want one, but I have never owned one because I live in apartments with a very tiny kitchen and...
Actually, I might still have that food processor. I think it's downstairs.
I don't have a whole lot of room for appliances.
Neither do we. Which is why my Death Star wallpaper is above the fridge.
Nice. Anyway, so we end on a shot of Piper looking indignant, but it looks like they cut away just before Holly started laughing.
Probably.
Because it was just like that tiniest little bit of a smile started to creep into her face.
Yeah, it reminds me of one of the cold opens for Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The one where Amy was late by like 70 seconds. And they're all trying to guess why she was late, and Holt is like, there was a problem at the bank. Ooh, this is fun. And she comes in, and they're all like questioning her, and she's like, there was a problem at the bank. It took extra long. And Holt does, hot dang! And like smacks his hand and like points, and they had to cut away immediately because everyone cracked up.
Yes.
Which is my favorite. Beautiful. I love seeing people break, which is why bloopers are the best.
Bloopers are the most fun thing ever. I will admit, one of my guilty pleasures is looking for bloopers on drama shows.
Yeah.
Or like mysteries. Or like horror stuff. Yeah. Like that's even if I've never actually watched.
Yeah, like, I can't really do visual horror. Literary, probably. Yeah. Visual, nah.
Yeah, but like even if I've never seen the thing where the blooper comes from, I still enjoy the bloopers.
Yeah.
They're just hilarious.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's great.
And the ones where like people gang up on the person in the scene. People who aren't in the scene gang up on the person in the scene to like do a prank. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun shit.
Yeah. Anyway, so we cut outside where we get a night shot of the house through a tree with leaves. Just saying. And in the shot, we can actually see the blurry image of the number plate on the wall to the left of the front door. Now, I would just like to remind people that the address of the house has changed from when we first heard it way back in season 1.
Way back.
Way. It started as 7571, but then was changed to 1329 because that's the actual number on the house. So that when we see this blurry number plate, we're not like, that's not 7571, that's 1329. The house is actually at 1329 Carroll Avenue in Los Angeles. It isn't for sale on Zillow, hashtag not sponsored, but it is on Zillow. Because I believe they had it up for sale or for rent or something at some point, so the listing is still up there. The entire house is less than 3,000 square feet. There are 5 bedrooms and 1 bathroom in that house. Anyway, back to the show before I fall down the rabbit hole of Zillow and craziness. We pan down, getting the fastest glimpse of the Swan Hitch as Cole and Phoebe drive up, and this time the hood of the car is down. Must have been a lovely night. She says that she had a great time, and then decides that his big secret is that he's married with 3 kids, 2 dogs, and, quote, a really cute cat, unquote. Saying that she is his 7-year itch.
It is on Zillow. Apparently valued at $1.13 million.
Yes.
Hello, beautiful.
Yes. Anyway, really cute cat. And saying that she's his 7-year itch, which is a psychological term that suggests that happiness in a relationship declines around year 7 of marriage. Linked on the website.
Yeah.
Anyway, he jokingly...
Also, I think it's a movie.
Yeah, I think so. He jokingly replies that she found him out, and then she brings it back to more sobering topics.
She asks if he's sorry that they... ... He
says no and asks if she is.
She's like, well, that depends on what happens next.
He says that it's too bad she can't predict the future. And she's like, who says I can't? And then they kiss.
And Cole's eyes are closed almost immediately this time.
And
Andrus peeks out of a bush, like at the back of the house or something.
And like Cole like seems to sense him and opens his eyes. and kind of gets that like, oh fuck, we've been caught. I need to stop enjoying this kind of look on his face. And they pull apart from the kiss. Phoebe asks if he wants to come in. He says that he has to get back to the case. She kisses him once more and starts to get out of the car.
So Andrus ducks back behind the bush.
Yeah.
And Cole stops Phoebe to say goodbye. And it's got like a finality to it. Like, but she, of course, doesn't pick up on his tone of voice. So she's like, good night.
Mm-hmm. She gets out of the car. She walks up the stairs. She stops like halfway up to turn and smile back at him.
There's a Beth Nielsen Chapman song called Say Goodnight. And the lyric goes, say goodnight, not goodbye.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
So she smiles back at him before heading back toward the house, and we see Andres come back out from his little hiding spot and watch her.
So Cole watches for another second before starting the car and peeling on away.
Like, tires squealing, peeling away from the house. Like, he got the fuck away from there.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, we cut to inside as Prue and Piper walk into the living room.
They are still fighting, and it seems that the fight hasn't gotten any further along.
Weirdly, it seems to have, like, died down just a bit, because you'd think the next thing after throwing appliances and camera lenses around would be to go find anything else of the other person's you can damage. But no, they've, like, somehow cooled a bit.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, yeah... you gotta escalate this shit.
Yeah, it was odd, but again, it's like they haven't gotten any further.
Take a page out of Andrus's book. Escalate everything, including your face. Escalate your face.
Yeah. Anyway, Phoebe walks in, asks what's going on. They both yell at her to shut up.
The camera pans around the three of them as the fight continues, and we can now see that Phoebe's skirt is, again, more see-through now than earlier.
Yeah, and this is where we can tell that it's over the pair of black pants. It was very interesting because at first I thought that somehow they'd fucked up and she was wearing like a different skirt pant combo that she had been wearing before, but the pattern on the skirt is the same. It just looks a lot less opaque now.
For some goddamn reason.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be that the lighting hit it differently and so we can see the pants underneath or whatever. I'd love to talk to someone
who did wardrobe on this show.
I know, right?
That would be great. Like, I don't care if we ever talk to the actors. Like, I could take that or leave that. But I want to talk to wardrobe.
I want to talk to the wardrobe. I'd love to talk to, like...
Continuity master?
Continuity people. Yeah.
Well, we know they don't have them. So.
Exactly. But yeah, like, I would love to talk to...
Talking to air.
Just talking to myself.
Uh-huh.
It happens
like
a lot.
Like Cole in the club.
Anyway, no, I would love to talk to somebody behind the scenes people. Like, that'd be cool.
It's context and key grips.
There you go. Find the Foley artist.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You don't fuck with Foley. Anyway, we're going to fast track this again. The fight turns towards Phoebe, and a red and black ball of dark light thing shoots again out of Andrus and it hits her. She again does the jump shiver. She gets in on the fighting and then decides to leave because... Yeah. They accuse her of bailing like Dad did. Prue explains that she's sick of saving them, and Piper's like, I'm sick of being taken for granted. And then she says that the earrings that Phoebe is wearing are hers, and she rips one of them off Phoebe's ear. And good thing I was right about them being clip-ons, because otherwise that would have been much more painful. Because we get an insert shot of the earring being pulled out of her ear. And it just pulls down, and you can see the couple of holes in her ear, but there's no blood, there's no, anything, which is why we know it's a clip-on. Yeah.
Phoebe then high kicks Piper, but Piper ducks. Piper pushes Phoebe into Prue. Prue pushes her against a chair. And then Phoebe throws a piece of Prue's camera equipment at Prue, who uses her power to send it flying back towards Phoebe, who then levitates, and it passes under her legs towards Piper, who freezes it. And there's like a beat, and then the camera piece unfreezes and hits a photo frame in the hallway. Yeah, like behind Piper, which, falls off the wall. Piper is the first to kind of like stop fighting, and she just kind of looks a little confused. And then Prue, and then Phoebe leaves. Yeah, and we get an overhead shot of the three of them standing in the only shape they can make, which is a triangle, as Phoebe walks away, and then Piper walks away, and Prue walks away, and they all go three separate directions. Yeah. And it kind of gave me Leverage flashbacks. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. It was kind of cool. And then Andrus disappears from outside the window. Yeah. And then we cut to the attic, where we get a slightly weird camera pan over to the Book of Shadows.
Yeah, it turns into a still shot as we get the triquetra, which kind of glows.
Right. It glows like a red.
And like a gold and like red on the outside, gold in the actual knotwork, and then it splits apart and it turns from like the knotwork inscribed on a circle to just like 3 oblong shapes.
Right.
No circle.
Right. And because the DP of photography did a really good job at it, the triquetra splits in the same way that they just walked off screen.
Yeah.
So it was very, very nicely done.
Mm-hmm.
So we then go to commercial break, because of course we do. And when we come back, Prue and Piper are cleaning up the living room, seemingly no longer angry.
They're even like helping each other and saying, oh, here, I'll do that. And
yeah.
They're not.
And then
Leo
orbs in, we shall fast track again.
They tell him that they had a little tiff, as Prue puts it. And Leo's like, well, they felt it, and whatever happened
severed the power of 3.
And y'all don't have any powers. Piper's like, that's impossible, because she's Luke Skywalker.
Leo then picks up a glass bowl, tells Piper to freeze it, and drops it. She tries to freeze it, and it smashes to the floor.
Prue walks over, tries to move it. Nothing happens. They're like, what happened? Leo's like, well, tell me about the tiff they had.
Yeah, tell me about this little tiff.
And Prue's like, do you remember Pearl Harbor? And she makes a explosion with her hands.
And so this is a reference to the attack on Pearl Harbor from 1941, which is what actually brought the USA into World War II. And Leo it's adorable that this is the reference that she uses with Leo, because that's the war that he fought and died in.
He probably does remember Pearl Harbor. Mm-hmm. Leo asks what triggered the fight, and as they start to explain all the little things that caused it, Prue's like, wait, we should have been angry, but not that angry. Yeah. And then thinks Balthazar must have done something to
because
them.
Prue has a one-track mind when it comes to Balthazar, just like Phoebe has a one-track mind when it comes to Cole.
Leo tells them that Balthazar doesn't have the power to take their powers away.
And he asks to know more about the fight.
And the girls finally admit that they use their powers on each other. Mm. And Leo's like, horrified about this shit.
So Leo realizes what has happened and becomes an exposition fountain.
Yep.
He says that their powers are rooted in their bond as sisters, so using them against each other must have severed said bond.
And he's like, well, y'all need to repair that damage to your relationship and restore them powers.
Yeah. And he asks where Phoebe is, and they say she's gone.
And they both look real guilty about it.
Yeah. We then jump over to Balthazar in his all-black outfit, holding the dagger from the altar, and he's chanting. And then there's a knock on the door, and Balthazar, kind of looks a little confused and then closes the door to the altar.
We see Phoebe standing in the hall calling for Cole.
And Balthazar walks over to the door and he grabs the handle and he starts to open the door. And we cut to the hallway as the door opens and he's changed back into Cole wearing a white tank top.
Mm-hmm. He asks why she's there. She asks to come in. He lets her and closes the door behind her.
And she starts to cry.
Bawling. She's fucking bawling.
She says she has nowhere else to go.
This is actually, really good upset acting on Alyssa's part. Mm-hmm. Because, she's hitching her breath and everything.
Yeah.
Kind of like Prue last episode.
Yeah, a little
bit.
With
the upset.
Yeah. He hugs her and says that he's glad that she came and asks what happened.
And she explains that she got into a huge fight with her sisters.
And he kind of shushes her and we get a shot of the red light from the altar peeking out through the art that it's hidden behind. And he's like, you're safe here.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. And we cut back to the manor where there's
scrying happening.
Attempted scrying happening in the attic.
Yeah. And I'm totally going to count it because they tried.
Yeah,
and
sure.
we get to see it. So that brings us up to 1 for this season and 3 for the series.
Yeah, we got the map and the crystal. Everything else is secondary.
Exactly. Piper says that they don't even have basic powers anymore because nothing is happening with the scrying. And Leo is in the background looking through the Book of Shadows.
Piper realizes that Balthazar's power wouldn't make them that angry. And Leo's like, oh, but his would.
Found it.
Yeah. Piper reads the page on Andrus, who's a spirit of rage who uses anger as a portal to enrage his victims until they commit a grievous act of violence. And I'm like, we got a gun for portals.
Yeah. Now you're thinking with portals.
Yep.
So they realize...
I saw a couple of bathroom doors. This was on my brother's Snapchat. He was at some place, and they had a sign saying, what do you feel like? Pick a door. And... they weren't gendered bathrooms. The sign were two sculptures, one of which was the head and like torso of a squirrel, and the other of which was the squirrel's butt. And they weren't like colored or anything. They were just white on doors. And so I texted him. I'm like, now you're peeing with portals. I don't think he understood.
No, but I would have.
I know. It's adorable.
That's funny.
Adorable. But yeah.
Puns.
Squirrel butt.
What do you feel like? Squirrel face or squirrel ass?
Yeah.
Face. Always go for the face. Anyway. So they realized that while he can't make anger out of nothing, they gave him an opening and he took full advantage of it.
They closed the book and we, again, see the broken triquetra. And I really like how Props did this because they had to expand the backing on which the triquetra is, because there's like this stippled, like raised portion that the knotwork is on, and they had to make a different thing that like made that a little bit bigger.
Yeah, which makes me wonder if they like made a whole new cover for the book, or if they just like pulled off the old thing and slapped on this new thing.
I think probably they just made I don't know, maybe like a slipcover or something that went over everything.
Don't know.
Because then it'll just cover the entire front. You don't need to know that it's not all there.
Yeah. It
could easily be stuck on or something and then removed later. As long as it's not obviously covering over something else. Like you can't see the bump underneath. It should be fine.
Yeah. Don't know. Mm-hmm. We shall never find out, I'm sure.
I'd love to talk to Props about that.
Yeah. Anyway.
We cut back to Cole's apartment.
Continuing where we left off.
Yeah, Phoebe pulls out of the hug and starts walking farther into the apartment.
Which makes Cole seem very worried that she's going to notice the altar that is glowing red on the wall.
But of course, she notices
nothing.
All.
Yeah.
Absolutely fuck all through this entire goddamn scene.
Oh, man. She's oblivious where Cole is concerned.
So oblivious.
And she started out that way and never gets any better.
There's a snoot.
I love looking down at Blue and just seeing his nose, just sniffing the air.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
There's a snoot in my bake.
What?
There's a snake in my boot.
Anyway.
She's telling him that she didn't mean any of the horrible things she said to her sisters.
And Cole, like, touches her shoulder and, like, she turns around and hugs him again.
She apologizes and he sits her down on the, like, very gently pushes her down to sit on the couch so that conveniently her back is to the altar.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells her he's going to go get her a tissue and walks over to his altar. She does not turn around at all to, like, face him.
Yeah, no.
She just continues talking.
Yeah.
He opens the door of the altar and pulls out the dagger. And, like, you can hear the slight rasp of the metal on the stand it's on. Like, why do you need a stand for your goddamn dagger?
Yeah. He keeps her talking and then closes the altar door, making sure it's actually fully closed this time, and starts walking toward her holding the dagger. He never picks up a tissue, just saying.
Mm-hmm. We get a shot where we see that he has tucked the dagger into his belt behind his back.
And he sits down next to her, and I immediately went, okay, so you've just poked yourself in the ass.
No, I think the curve of his ass would push the point away. So at the very most,
he's stabbing the couch.
Yeah. If he's not stabbing the couch, maybe it's like pressing against his ass, but it's also in the middle, so it's probably going in his ass crack. And the cloth will protect him.
Oh man. Anyway,
I think about these things, okay?
Mm-hmm. She touches his face and thanks him for listening and for being there for her.
He touches her face back, and they kiss. And he does this weird thing where he like grabs her chin.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that?
Oh, it's a Cole thing.
It's weird. Anyway,
he's keeping his eyes open this time, and he reaches backwards, and he pulls the dagger out of his belt, and he raises it up to get ready to stab her.
But just as you would expect her to, like, open her goddamn eyes, which she does not, he changes his mind. His eyes close as he gets into the kiss, and then he puts the dagger and hides it between the couch cushions.
Yeah.
They pull apart, and he is kind of brokenly saying he can't.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Just, I can't. I can't.
Do this. Yeah.
Very softly, too. And she's just like, what? And she's doing that duck face again.
Yeah. Like, So he stands up and he tells her that she needs to go home, and she stands up like hurt, asking, why.
And he tells her that she's vulnerable, so they shouldn't do this, and she needs to go home and figure out what happened.
And she smiles a little, realizing that he's right, and thanks him as they walk to the door. And they kiss again, and we say, Andress appear.
Cole says, "You're welcome," and she leaves.
Yeah. And we can see as she's walking out that they tried to cover Alyssa's tattoo.
I never managed to catch that.
Really?
I never managed to catch that. Let me look.
So, yeah, they cover the tattoo, and it kind of comes off as like a little shadow on the back. If you don't know that she has a tattoo on her back they've covered, you might not like...
Even if you do and you're just not paying fucking attention.
Yeah.
Point at nose.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like what you think it would.
Yeah. But because she has a very large tattoo on her back, and they've tried to cover it with some makeup, and it just kind of mutes it a bit.
Yeah, they didn't do the trick where first you cover it with lipstick and then foundation. Apparently that helps. Because it lightens the color from black to red, because lipstick is generally more opaque. And then it makes it easier for foundation to cover that, because it's closer to skin tone than black.
Interesting. I don't wear makeup, so I didn't...
It was a tutorial I saw on Tumblr like years ago.
Well, interesting.
Like you cover it in lipstick, and then you cover it in concealer, and then you cover it in your foundation, and you do like the powder finish to make it look, skin tone, and that works much better.
Fascinating. Anyway, so they kiss. Andress appears. He says, "You're welcome." She leaves, and as soon as the door is closed, Andress says,
"The rumors are true of him having fallen for a witch."
Yeah. Cole yells at him to get out, and then gets the knife out from between the couch cushions.
Andress threatens to tell the Triad.
Okay, now you're doing like some voice from The Simpsons.
I don't know what I'm doing. You have to understand how many facial expressions this man is making while he's doing this. And the process of me having to do all the facial expressions really bleeds into my voice.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to do them, right?
But I want to.
Okay, then.
Because I want everyone to understand.
Yes, I'm sure they do. Anyway, Andress threatens to tell the Triad. Cole threatens to kill him before he can.
And Andress provokes Cole into changing into Balthazar.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "You didn't know I can possess my victims too." So he glows red and jumps inside Balthazar.
Who then roars and stretches and then looks into the mirror. And Balthazar's face has Andress's voice as he goes, "It's time to finish what we started."
And I'm really loving the dentures that they've got. Is his name Michael?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that they've got Michael wearing over his teeth, because now he's got these tiny pinprick fangs.
Yeah, it's kind of
all
adorable.
along his teeth.
Yeah. We go to commercial break, and when we come back,
Prue is
inside the manor.
Yeah. Prue walks into the wicker room while on the phone, where Piper and Leo are standing. Prue is explaining to whoever's on the phone that if they hear from Phoebe, they need to tell her to come home. It's an emergency. Mm-hmm. The phrase that gets so old so fast in this family.
Mm-hmm. She hangs up and says that Phoebe isn't at the club and none of her friends have seen her. And then Piper asks if she tried Cole, and Prue says that there was no answer.
Piper is like, "I'll never forgive myself if something happens to Phoebe."
And Leo says that nothing will happen. And then Piper reminds him that something happening to people is sort of, a thing that runs in their family.
Well, yeah.
Something happened to Mom. Mm-hmm. Something happened to Grams,
Yeah. At this point, we hear the door shut, and Phoebe walks in and asks if the tribal council has spoken and if she's been booted off the island.
Which is a reference to the TV show Survivor, which started in May of 2000. So it was still a brand new show at this point, because this is in November. The 36th season of said show, Survivor, premiered on February 28th, 2018.
That's 2 a year. That's more than 2 a year. That's 2 or 3 a year. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's America's Next Top Model did that too, I think.
Yeah. Kinda nuts. Just a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Links on the website, of course, because I'm me.
Mm-hmm. Piper hugs Phoebe and asks if she's okay. She tells them she is. Piper's like, "Oh, where were you?"
And Phoebe says that she was at Cole's and that he convinced her to come home and deal with what happened. Prue says that Balthazar is what happened, and Phoebe, of course, questions her.
But Piper gives her the abbreviated version that ends with no more Triquetra, no more Power of Three.
But she calls it Triquetra.
And what's really funny is that for a hot sec, I thought she said Friquetra. So apparently my hearing is just off lately.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was Brazil's, and now it's Friquetra.
Yeah.
Or Fraquetra. Really?
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah.
Phoebe now realizes
this means that they don't have any powers, so attack will be happening
any minute.
Imminently.
Yes. Prue mentions that she was worried that something had already happened to Phoebe, but she assures Prue that she's fine. Leo says that they need to restore their sisterly bond, and he puts the Book of Shadows down on the table and leaves to give them some privacy.
And we're going to fast track again.
Uh-huh.
The girls all basically apologize to each other, mostly apologizing to Phoebe, actually. Like, if you clock time spent apologizing to each sister, it starts off with Phoebe, mostly, and they spend like 2 minutes on that.
Yeah.
And then it gets... Then they mention like, oh yeah, well, you have taken care of us, Prue. Oh yeah, we do take you for granted, Piper. Like,
yeah. So they take back their mean words, and Prue mentions something about not needing Oprah. So of course I had to look her up, right?
Yeah.
So Oprah Winfrey is who they're talking about. Her birth name is not actually Oprah. It's Orpha, which is Hebrew for neck. It's a Bible name.
Yeah.
But people kept mispronouncing it as Oprah, and it stuck. Because Orpha is hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that.
Also, Harpa Studios sounds better than Hapro.
Yes.
Which is her production company based in Chicago.
Yes. So I'm not going to tangent more than that. I just thought it was interesting. I will link to her wiki on the website, of course. So they giggle at the mention of Oprah, and Phoebe wonders if they've gotten their powers back, and then Balthazar bursts through the door. And it's not Leo this time.
No, it's not. He really bursts through that damn door.
Yeah.
Like, I think something broke. So Prue tries to use her power, doesn't work. Piper tries hers, doesn't work.
Phoebe, slightly annoyed, says aloud to the ceiling that they worked on their issues.
Leo runs up behind Balthazar and slams a chair over his back.
And I wonder if that should count toward the FAQ, because the chair was broken.
I think it probably should. Even though it looked like a folding chair.
It was a wooden chair.
It was a wooden folding chair.
Yeah.
It looked like a wooden, like a garden chair kind of deal.
So that will bring our furniture annihilation quotient up to 5 for the season and 31 for the series. Balthazar then hits Leo in the face,
and he gives
sending
off a
him
nice
flying to the ground.
He does a nice like oof, kind of like ugh, like I don't know. He says something as a sound effect, and I thought it was hilarious.
Yep.
But yeah, Piper calls out to him and tries to go to him, but Prue and Phoebe grab her back.
Yeah.
Who tells everyone else to run, and Phoebe's like, "No,
we're in this together, no matter what."
And we see the Triquetra light up again and join back up, and Phoebe notices it and points at it, and she's like, "Look at the Triquetra! Like, man,
look at the Book of Shadows." Prue then uses her power, knocks the knife out of Balthazar's hand, and Balthazar throws one of his little blue lightning ball things at them.
Prue uses her power to block it and reflect it back. It flies back, hits Balthazar, and Andrus gets knocked out of him. Everyone stops for a sec.
Yeah.
And there's a really cute moment where Prue is surprised by this, and Phoebe calls it demon
with demon filling, which was by far some of the best writing. I enjoyed that particular line. Demon with demon filling.
Yeah. Anyway, Balthazar gets pissed at Andrus, and we hear Michael with added bass tone or whatever, how they're doing Balthazar's voice.
No one crosses me.
Yeah, and so he throws a lightning ball at him, and Andrus is vanquished.
Yeah.
So then Balthazar picks up the knife, and Prue's like, get into positions!
Yeah, positions, girls!
Yes.
And he starts walking toward Phoebe. Phoebe then kicks him in the face, and for some reason, she goes flying backward toward the chair. So apparently, being without her powers for a few hours made her rusty.
I think probably what happened was the wire work just went a little wonky on this.
No, I don't think so. Because they had to cut to a different angle of her flying into the chair. It seemed very deliberate.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't seem like an oops, accidental. Well, we'll just move all of the cameras to this side and have her slam herself against a wall. Like, it absolutely seemed like a deliberate move where she kicked at him and then flew into the wall. Whatever. Anyway.
Piper freezes the knife that Balthazar throws at her.
Prue astral projects behind him and kicks him in the back.
So Piper plucks the knife out of the air and slices him like across the bottom of the ribs on one side.
Yeah.
And we see a chunk
of skin.
Chunk of red fall to the ground, and Balthazar roars. He grabs Piper's arm and twists it so that the knife like kind of falls and hits her in the face.
Yeah, because she had hesitated after doing the slicing because I don't think she was expecting to actually hit him.
No. But hey, she didn't go for the neck this time.
Very true. She falls to the floor, Prue astral projects back to her body, and then uses her power to make Balthazar go crashing through the window. And this is why I say we maybe should have had a tally for the window, but we're not going to do it now because it's too late for that. Mm-hmm. He changes back into Cole as he's lying in the bushes, looks at the wound on his stomach, and then disappears before anyone notices.
It did not look like a voluntary disappearance. Like, there was a look on his face, because he obviously knew that they were coming, but, like, he's in pain. He looks like he can't really move all that well. And then there's a startled look, like the kind of thing that would happen when you have that sensation at night where it feels like you've dropped. Mm-hmm. Because your body's waking up.
Oh, I know that sensation.
You have a myoclonic jerk.
Yeah, I know that sensation very well.
Oh, yeah. Which happens when your brain notices that your heart rate has dropped because you're sleeping. And so it tries to, like, send a wake-up signal to you, so you have a myoclonic jerk. And that's when it feels like you have, like, dropped. Mm-hmm. Just randomly.
Yeah.
They happen all the time. Some people's are more severe than others, but they're fun.
Yeah. If by fun you mean terrifying, yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's better than sleep paralysis.
So true. So
Are we going to link to both of these now?
Probably not.
Okay, fine, whatever. But anyway.
I mean, maybe. Who knows?
It looked, because, I don't know, like, the facial expression he had right before he shimmered out looked startled.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I gotta get out of here.
But I think it might have been a startled that he shifted back into Cole and realized that he had to get out of there before they realized who he was.
It also looked like it had directionality, and that directionality was downward.
I don't know.
Plus, where we see him next, this is the context of where we next see him makes me think that this was not a voluntary shimmer.
It could be. But who knows? Mm-hmm. Anyway, Leo helps Piper up, saying that he's happy that he's already dead.
Yeah, Phoebe and Prue have gone over to the window and they realize that Balthazar's gone. They have seen nothing. Piper picks up the skin from the floor, saying she got a slice of him, and I'm looking at this, and it looks like a beet slice.
Yeah.
It looks like someone took a slice of pickled beet out of a jar and just slapped it on the floor. Which, hey, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prue jokes about it being the other white meat, and I'm like, that's clearly red, Prue.
Well, you know, the other white meat was the slogan for pork that started in 1987, and in 2011, the slogan was changed to pork, be inspired.
Yeah,
which
and then
isn't as good, I think.
And then in the early aughts, there was Baby, the other white meat.
Well,
from Austin Powers.
Yeah, the other reason that the line about them saying the other white meat is funny is because human flesh, when in regards to cannibalism, is called long pork.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
What's that from?
I don't know. It's just what it's called.
I feel like it's from a book.
It could very well be. I honestly don't know.
Oh, wait. I might be remembering. I'm remembering a Monty Python sketch.
Okay.
I think there was a one where they were all in blackface. And they were talking about long pork.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's not really worth seeing.
Yeah. Anyway.
The Money Program is worth seeing. Argument Clinic, very worth seeing. Blackface? No.
Not so much.
Not so much. Anyway. They're all happy that they can get to work on a vanquishing spell with this piece of flesh.
Yeah. We cut over to the exterior of P3, same as before, people lined up, no now appearing sign.
Fastball is playing You're an Ocean on the stage, and I forgot that I knew this song.
Yeah. I've already told you about them, so no need to repeat myself.
Prue walks up to Piper and Phoebe, who are sitting in the alcove.
Prue takes off a dark fur coat as she sits down, and we can see that she is in a white tank top and some brown leather pants. And we can see that the bra she's wearing underneath the shirt has some sort of, like, pattern on it. And her hair is down. Piper is in a blue dress that looks very comfy.
Yep.
And her hair is also down. She still has that diamond necklace on. Phoebe's outfit is hard to see due to the way that she's sitting, but it looked like a dark gray dress, and she's kind of got like her knees tucked up into the chair and has pulled the dress over her knees. Mm-hmm. But the straps on the top of it look like they're attached with like a clip, like the
like
kind that you like the kind that you use on like Blue's Collar.
Yeah.
Like that like a
seatbelt
kind of clip. And then they're also adjustable like a bra.
Yeah.
It was really weird. It was also super tight across her chest.
Tighter than a corset?
Yeah, like super tight across her bust. And then she's wearing like a necklace that looks like a blue crystal on some sort of string of beads. And her hair is pulled back into like a really messy ponytail.
Mm-hmm. Prue sits down and Phoebe asks how her photo session went.
Prue says that it would have been better if she'd had it at P3, but their relationship is more important.
And Piper just asks for some warning next time.
Yeah. Prue asks about Piper's doctor's appointment.
And Piper's like, oh yeah, everything's normal, except my stress levels. And she gives this really funny face.
Yeah. Phoebe says that she doesn't want to stress Piper out, but that she ran into some of the neighbors, and they seem to have worked things out.
Why would that stress her out? The
Because
bit about the neighbors. But yeah.
She asks what was said, and Piper says that she just spoke her mind.
And Prue's like, well, maybe you should handle all the meetings. And Piper's like, absolutely not.
No. Yeah, she emphatically refuses. And Phoebe's like, you're getting good at saying no. And Piper thanks her, and it was adorable. And then the girls decide that they need to try and tell each other how they feel more often so that this never happens again.
Or at least most of everything that they feel, because telling them everything would probably lead to more death.
Mm-hmm. Phoebe then looks around the club. Prue asks if she's heard from Cole, and Phoebe says that she can't figure him out.
But she will.
And she kind of like leans into her hand a little bit. And we fade dissolve into the final scene of the episode. To the Triad.
Yeah. Cole appears via fire in front of the Triad on that like little circle that's filled with dry ice vapor.
Yeah. Fog machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something. The Triad members tell him that he's failed them, betrayed the Source by showing sympathy to the witches.
Yeah. And then a rotating ball of fire appears in one of the hands of the Triad dudes. We've seen this kind of
ropey
fireball thing.
Game of Thrones, like the things at the beginning of
I don't watch Game of Thrones,
scene.
so I have no idea.
Well, the credit scene's cool. We should watch the credit scene.
I have seen the very first episode, got to the last 5 minutes, and went, don't need this drama in my life, and haven't watched anything else.
Still, watch the credit scene, because the credit scene is real cool.
Okay.
You don't need to see anything else.
I was going to say, I think I might have skipped the credits when I watched the first episode, so I don't think I've actually seen the credits.
Yeah, they're kind of long. But as a one-time thing, it's like, ooh, this is really cool. I love these visuals. Rad.
Yeah. Anyway.
Rotating, ropey,
ball of fire,
impossible, tumbleweed of fire.
Tumbleweed of fire. I like that. Let's go with that. Tumbleweed of fire.
Triad tumbleweed.
Yeah. It appears in one of the members of the Triads in his hand, and he says that Cole is allowed one final statement.
Cole, looking down, is like, I have nothing to say.
Except...
And there's like a pause, and then he's like, except, and then pulls the knife out of the back of his belt and throws it at the one holding the fire.
Yeah.
A different one tries to throw a fireball at Cole, but he disappears, so it misses. He reappears behind a third member of the Triad, breaks his neck, and then throws blue lightning at the last guy who is engulfed in flames.
Yeah.
And we get a camera angle from above his head as he screams.
Like at the top of his voice, just yells.
And it kind of rises, and it feels like the mood of what he's screaming feels like when a Klingon is warning the afterlife that a warrior is coming.
It was a scream of catharsis is what I felt. And like the camera kind of spins around him from the ceiling, and we go to the end credits.
Uh-huh. Yeah, nice little plot twist right at the end there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So with our credits rolled, we are on to our ratings portion.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm giving this episode an 8 out of 10 flesh pieces.
I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 frenetic faces. Because, honestly, that was my favorite part of the episode. As stupid as it was just Andrus's, like, overacting face. I can't even do that. I get tired.
Well, alrighty then. So, with our ratings done, we're on to outfits.
Okay.
Did you have a fave?
I really love Phoebe's, like, salsa outfit. Mm-hmm. Like, Spanish-inspired corset thing.
Yep, same.
And Piper's final dress.
Yeah, same.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And for Prue, I liked the black halter top dress thing that she was wearing at the beginning of the episode. Like, I kind of wish she'd been in that one longer.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a really pretty dress.
Yeah, I honestly don't really remember that because her hair kind of upstaged it.
Really?
For me? I don't know. It was black and Phoebe had the boobs going on.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, out of all of the outfits for Prue, that was the one that I liked the best. Anyway, so that means we're on to social media.
Social media time.
Ding!
You can, as always, find us at charmchats.com.
Mm-hmm.
And if you'd like to email us questions, comments, queries, or, you know, whatever, you can do that at charmchats@gmail.com.
Yep.
We are on Twitter and Tumblr at charmchatspod. Mm-hmm. Everywhere else, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, which we never use anymore.
Yeah, not so
Pinterest,
much.
which we have never used.
Well, no, I did for like a little bit there. I kind of did. A little bit.
We've pretty much never used it.
Yeah.
That's Charm Chats.
Yep. And
if you are so inclined and so generously minded, please head on over to our Patreon, which is at patreon.com/charmchats.
Yep.
And, you know, like, send a little something our way.
Yeah.
We've got a few Patreon member exclusives.
Like bloopers and tangents and all sorts of stuff. And there may be some random things happening. And we now have the Discord server, which may or may not be a Patreon exclusive.
Yeah, may or may not remain Patreon exclusive.
Yeah, who knows? By the time this comes out, it may no longer be an exclusive, but it's there, and so that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were given a shout out because we have, guess what? A new Patreon patron.
What? Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah. We got a new patron at the $1 tier. Joanna. Hi. You're awesome. Thank you so much. So we shall now shout your name into the ether.
Into the ether.
Joanna! Yeah. Woo! Thank you. I think that's everything.
I think so too.
So, until next time.
Sleep tight and don't let the warlocks bite unless you're really into that.
Yeah. Bye!
Bye-bye!
Phoebe, Piper, and Prue, they've got evil to slay and some potions to brew. So we'll see where it's at next time with Kendra and Kat on Charm Chats.
Hashtag coleslaw of emotion.